Well, if you're anything like me and the hundreds of people that tell me every year that they struggle with this, oftentimes when you read this book, does the word distraction apply more than the word focus? Yeah, me too. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 tips that are really going to help you. And these come from the world of brain science and environmental psychology. It's not as daunting as it sounds. Before we dive in, I want to make sure you have my tool, the simplest way to study any Bible passage. Go to keithfarron.com/simplest way or just click the link in the description. If you've been around my channel very long, then you know that I love exploring the intersection of brain science and the Bible. How, when we understand how God has wired our brains to learn and understand and remember, that can help us in every aspect of the Bible. And so when it comes to focusing, I want to look at 3 specific kind of elements of the intersection, if you will, not just of brain science and the Bible, but brain science and what's called environmental psychology, what is happening around us. And so the first element of that is going to really help us focus is what is called context-dependent memory. And you don't need to remember that phrase. You just need to remember when you read the Bible in the same location at the same time, it makes a massive difference on how well you focus. And so that whole idea of, you've heard people talk about, this is my prayer space or my prayer closet, or this is the place where this is my favorite chair, or things like that. Well, that speaks to this whole idea of context-dependent memory. And I'm recording this here because that place right there, that is my place. And there are some elements to think about when it comes to context-dependent memory. One is the preparing of the place. It's not just the choosing of the place and choosing of the time, although that's important, but it's the preparing of the place so that time isn't disrupted. And so before I go to bed at night, I make sure that my Bible and my glasses and my tablet, which is what I use to do some of my research as well as my journaling, I make sure that all of those are in that location. So when I come down those stairs early in the morning, then I can just start the coffee and get ready to get into that space. This idea, if you've never chosen, if sometimes you read at the table and sometimes you are in your office and sometimes you're in your car and sometimes you're in a specific chair, then I would encourage you, try for 30 days. Try picking the same time of the day and the same location and prepare that location ahead of time. So if you read in the morning, prepare the night before. If you read in the evening, then prepare that spot in the morning. And I've mentioned this in another video, but a piece of that also is that is not the place that I normally sit. Now, you may be in a situation where you don't have a place that has multiple places to sit or whatever. Your context may change this for you. But for me, while I sit on that couch to watch TV or read a book or whatever it is or have a conversation, I don't typically sit in that corner unless I am reading my Bible. And so that whole idea, that is the context, that is the place, so that when I go and I sit down in that place, my mind is already prepared to focus. Now, I mentioned coffee, which leads to the second of these, which is what we call sensory cues. So sensory cues, for the most powerful, the science has shown that for triggering memory, which having a similar memory in the similar spot at the similar time will help us focus, that the most powerful for triggering memory is actually not sight or sound, but is smell. And so for me, I not only love coffee, I combine the context dependent with the sensory. I not only use this mug, or have coffee every morning, but I use this mug, this same. I've got like four of them, but they're identical. So the way that it feels in my hand, it's comfortable in my hand. It keeps my coffee hot, and it's got a wide top. So for me, I can smell the coffee. The trigger of as I'm in that space, and I only turn on that one lamp in the corner, and so that when the lighting is the same and the smell is the same from the coffee, then that leads into then the taste of the coffee. I don't put lots of different things in it. I drink black coffee in the morning. And so the combination of that, the dependent memory combined with the sensory cues of what it feels like in my hand, what it smells like, what it tastes like, all those prepare and it builds over time. The more that we invest in this context dependent memory and the sensory cues, all of that over time will get us to the place where we'll get to the spot where we'll sit down, and within seconds or even a minute, it can get us to the place where we are ready to meet with God. We are ready to hear his voice. We are ready to focus and to concentrate. Now, I'm going to flip the script a little bit. Those are things that contribute to focus, but there is something that most of us do that I want to give you some reasons why you need to stop doing this. And this is what's called the phone prison. That we need to take our phones and get them away from our Bible study. Now, I know that some people use the YouVersion Bible app for different things. I would encourage you, if you have a tablet or you have an old phone that you don't do other things with, then install that app on there. Or install the app on the tablet, because I don't use my app to make phone calls. My tablet. I don't use it usually to work and stuff. It's something that it's there. It's for reading. It's for Bible study. It's for journaling. That's the primary way in which I use that. But there was a study that was done. I'm gonna get a little brain sciencey on you, but so many people dismiss this. And if you are challenged to dismiss this, I want to challenge you to listen for a few more minutes, because to understand why it is that the phone is so distracting. It's not just because we do all the other things, but it's a whole lot of other elements that come in because it's the thing we do so much on, because it's the thing we use to listen to music, to scroll social media, to do business, to do work, to call people, to FaceTime friends, to all the different things that we do with it. Then that device, even when we're not doing it, and even when we're not tempted to grab it or to do those things, which a lot of us are tempted to scroll and to do those things instead. But even when we're not, even when it's just sitting there, I want to give you here's the argument why having it in another room is beneficial. There was a study that was done by a professor at University of Texas in Austin named Adrian Ward. I want to get everything right for this. And he did this study with over 800 or around 800 people that were smartphone users, and found a few different kind of outcomes of this study. The impact of having a phone present. This isn't using phones to study or using phones to do reads. This is having a phone present in the room on projects or lessons or anything where focus was required, which is the focus of this video is focus. And one is what he called the mere presence effect. That these researchers found that even when the phone was turned off, not just on silent, not just on do not disturb, but when it was actually off, the mere presence in your field of vision, or even in the same room, occupied part of the cognitive resources that it takes to focus. And what they found was, this is fascinating to me, that there was what they call a linear trend, that if it was in a different room, you could focus differently and more than if it was in the same room on the other side of the room. And if it was in your pocket closer to you, but you still couldn't see it, you could focus a little bit less. And if it was sitting on your desk or your table or the couch next to you while you were trying to read or do a project or anything else, that your ability to focus went down and down, the more linearly that it was, that the closer it was to you. And these are with phones that were powered down, phones that weren't going off, that weren't notifying, that the person even knew that the phone couldn't notify them because it was powered down. And so they knew that, but even just the proximity of the phone, the closer the phone was to them, the less they were able to focus. And that whole, what they call cognitive capacity, the ability to think, and and the ability to focus, and what they realized was that there was a portion of the cognitive space, the ability you have to think, there was a portion of that was having to actively be engaged in the decision to not look at your phone, to not even literally look at your phone, not just actually hold your phone and do something on it, but not look at it, that it actually took a portion of your cognitive ability to do that. So I want to challenge you. What if for the next 30 days, this is the experiment. Give me 30 days. Take 30 days and say, you know what? I'm going to have my phone in a different room where I can't even see it. And I'm going to prepare the night before or the morning before, if it's the nighttime that you study, I'm going to prepare this space so that my Bible, my glasses, my whatever, my tablet, my journal, my pens, if I mark, whatever it is, whatever you use to read and study the Bible, are in that location, and you pick the same location. And if your schedule allows, if at all possible, the same time of the day. Combine that with the sensory cues of having this similar as you can get, the lighting in the room and the smells. If it's coffee, great. If it's a candle, great. If it's something that brings in the same, if you drink coffee every morning but you always use a different mug, try using the exact same mug for 30 days. Just give me 30 days and focus on the context dependent memory, same time and place, the sensory cues of what we see, what the space is like, what we hear. It may be that you put on a little bit of instrumental background music. For some people, that's totally distracting. For me, I don't like music when I'm reading the Bible. For some people, it's super helpful. But what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we feel, use some sensory cues, and then having your phone in the other room. And let me know. Come back to this video. Set a reminder for 1 month from today, and come back and leave a comment and say, this is how it went. And I would be so curious, because for me, it has been a game changer as far as my ability to go sit in that corner and read this book and focus on this God. So I hope that was encouraging to you. I hope that you'll give it a try. I know for sure that it will be helpful for you. And when it is, then like this video and subscribe to this channel. And YouTube thinks that you should probably watch that video right there, so you might want to give it a try. And if not, the playlist that's right there is going to be super helpful for you. All right, have a good day, and I will see you in the next video.